Village of Armada Council meeting will now come to order. January 25th, and at 7:08, is that?
7:08.
We're doing great.
Everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you kindly. Now we're going to have roll call, please. We're having our treasurer, Joe Adair, sit in as the clerk due to sickness of the clerk.
Yeah. Well, did she or
Well,
is it okay? I knew it. Okay.
Okay, Shaw is at
She's quarantined.
Belkey,
Here.
Clark,
Here.
Flood,
Here.
Ballard,
Here.
Cronin.
Here.
Wallach.
Yes, here. And approval of the agenda. What's the council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, I'll move the agenda be accepted as presented.
Support. Moved by Ballard, supported by Clark. Any further discussion, please? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Citizen comments at this time. We have our state representative here, Jeffrey Arch. Would you like to address the council?
Yes, I'll be brief. This is Jeff here, the state representative that includes Armada.
Jeff, come a little bit,
Yeah.
because the camera acted just at its stable. You can go in the center if you want. Just get around a little bit.
All right, let me just,
There you go.
got my mask and the whole thing.
Yeah,
So, many of you know me. I said I've, been there for 4 years, and I'm happy to have been reelected and serving you another 2. As you know, I try to get around to all of my city council, village, so forth meetings from time to time. Just stop in, make sure all of you remember that I'm available. Just a few things. The consensus revenue estimating conference showed the budget may not be as bad as we thought. But it's still not good, and we're hoping that once we get through COVID, that the economy will bounce back, but we're not sure. So I'm advising all of the communities in my district to budget wisely. I'm sure you guys already are, but I always want to make sure that message is that we're basically have shored up our state budget on a lot of federal funding. And that's what's kind of keeping, we're concerned about a lot of small businesses. In fact, this week, the Republican caucus is going to continue advocating for small businesses, for, supporting, to make sure that they're all struggling, and that when this passes, that do our best to keep those businesses alive, so that we, can maintain our small businesses too. Obviously, COVID is a serious issue, but we also want to make sure that we have an economy and that we're vibrant after we get through all this. So just letting you know that I'm available, and if there's any questions, I'm here. I'm going to stay through the meeting and be there for you. Anything? Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you all for
kindly for
using.
stopping in. You find it?
No, I can have it in here.
Okay, look and see if I got one in there.
No, I just didn't look in there.
I didn't see one.
It's usually, it's
Yeah,
loose.
yeah, no, I didn't see one.
Unless are you gonna come in tomorrow and sign one, or do you want to do it all?
What did I sign here for?
That's the treasurer's report.
Yeah.
No, every month, you always get a little typed up thing that says approval for payment
Oh, I
of
didn't
bill.
get it yet, no.
No, it's not in the
Yeah,
packet.
no, I didn't get it.
So, do you wanna come in the morning and sign one, or do
Yeah.
you want me to scratch out one? You come in the morning? Okay. Alright,
Okay, we have no presentations at this time, and we'll move to the administrative reports, which is a treasury report. Do you have any comments on that, Joe?
No.
All right, and the commissioners' liaison reports. Any commissioner would like to have a report? Quite simple,
Yes, I've got some.
quite simple.
Okay, as you all know, we've got F&B in the middle of their transition to management activity for waterworks. The cost was $85 an hour per the operator in charge. We've got 3 weeks of that activity under our belt. As kind of we suggested, we would not be doing the 10 hours a week early on. It'll probably get to 10 hours in February and maybe go beyond that in March. To date, with 3 weeks under our belt, we've spent $1,232.50. So I think we're well underneath what we had expected. It's going to go up, but right now I think we're doing a great job with expenditures. Chris Munson and Ed are working well together. I know of no issues, and Chris is working on the SOP that they'll have in place by the time we move into the long-term contract, and doing some other things such as getting a contact list together, a vendor list, and so on, so that he's, again, prepared to take over the waterworks activity.
So 5.5 hours a week now has been enough to get for that ramp up then for us, is where they are now.
That's where they are now. I would
It's gonna
expect,
grow.
I would expect Ed to start turning some of the activities over to Chris, so he'll need to be here more than just looking over Ed's shoulder.
Mhm.
And then in March, I would expect Ed to step back.
Yep.
Chris is probably gonna be running the operation.
Right.
Now, this is
Exactly.
all just in terms of the testing and the government reports they do.
This is,
No.
this is managing the water treatment plant, so F&V will provide the operator in charge. That plant will be run not by the DPW anymore, but by F&V.
You mean the arsenic treatment plant?
The water treatment plant. So that's our filtration plant, water filtration plant, with the 4 vessels that we have to change the media in. So they'll run that. They will do the sampling regimen that comes from the state. We expect the next year's sampling regimen to come in February, March, and that's everything from testing our arsenic levels to biosolids and so on, right, according to state requirements. They will do asset management, and there are some other activities that they'll be involved in as well. Okay, so that, right now, they're just getting their, they're making sure that they are, have their operational plans ready to go, so that when we do the long-term contract starting in the 1st of April, which is, you mentioned earlier, I think, that they're ready to go.
No, that's what I thought. That's
So-
not in here.
The next thing, I think I mentioned at the budget meeting, we have submitted for the state DWAM grant. That's a drinking water asset management grant, and covers things such as completion of our asset management plan, lead, copper, drinking line investigation to determine if it's in fact a bad line or it's a good line, and so on. So we put in for that about $100,000 worth. We are on the list.
Yeah.
So the next issue is doing an engineering report for that. That's where Roe comes in. We were asking about that.
Who do you put the grants into? Is that a state agency?
Goes into Eagle. Goes into Eagle. And there's then 2 more
Is
that,
there something that Jeff could help us on any of these grants we're trying to get? For instance, the media for the arsenic treatment?
I'd appreciate any help, Jeff, that you can provide on that, but there's a, these reports or the intent to apply goes in, and then you have to follow up with a report by a certain date. The one issue that I've had with these is there's a set of selection criteria, and in some cases, the selection criteria
is already weighted against you. If you've had a water system inspection and you've had some deficiencies, what the criteria says is that you've had no deficiencies. And we've asked, well, what happens if you've had deficiencies and cleared them up? Are you scored the same, or are you now automatically lose points because you had an issue and fixed them rather than having no issues, which is what the criteria says. And there's a few other issues like that. I'd be happy to talk to you after the meeting.
Why don't we connect? Like you said, you weren't expecting that I was gonna be here tonight, so let's connect and I will try to reach out. And I'm not sure what I can do, but if there's some way we can help, I mean, I've been able to help from time to time.
I'm just looking for fair scoring, given the immense amount of work we put into water over the last 2 years. I just like some credit for doing the hard work, rather than because we weren't there perhaps 2 years ago, that now we're going to lose an opportunity to get some of the money. Right. So I would love to talk to you after the meeting. We've got 2 more coming up. Again, we talked about it at the budget meeting, the Consolidation and Contamination Risk Reduction Grant. That's the one where we're going to go after the arsenic money, right? It's primarily PFAS. We have no real PFAS issues in the village. It's great, but it also allows us to apply for other contaminants. We've got a significant arsenic issue, and to replace the media in our filtration vessels, just 2 out of the 4 is $400,000. That kills my water budget for the year, right? I mean, it'll take me 3 years to do it, and then I can do no other projects because I'm out of money. So being able to apply and being given credit for what we've done in the village to get some money for that really helps us out a lot. And then there's a third one, which is the Drinking Water Infrastructure Grant. Now, the close for application, the closing period for application on that is coming up soon. It does have some stormwater opportunities, Chris, and there's some wastewater opportunities.
Yeah, on the one, yeah. Honestly, what we talked about, Joe, and I forgot. Where did you go looking for the grants again?
I got these from F&V. Now, F&V in our capital improvement planning report has indicated that they will keep us advised. Rowe should also keep us advised. Haven't heard from Rowe for a while on any of this stuff, but I'll be poking F&V, since they're going to be managing the water treatment facility for us, to get us this information on possible grants. They see it far more than I see it.
Right. It makes sense for them. I was thinking of more Row would be, or wherever else we would be more, that I would be able to take advantage of time.
Yeah, perhaps.
Isn't a mechanical contract like that.
Yes, but they did say they would provide information on streets. So there's some opportunities. We're applying for all of these, whether we get funds or not.
As long as you're handling it like you said, Ross, the thing is, we don't have to pay that engineer. You know, their fees are quite high.
No, you're
right.
Yeah, you're correct. The issue though comes in later is once we put in the intent to apply, we have to then follow that up with an engineering assessment. So we will probably get hit sometime in the next 6 months to develop the information that's required to support our invitation to bid.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of the process.
Thank you.
But you can't underestimate the PV stands.
I was going to talk about it tonight, but I think we're going to wait. We have approximately 87 residential and non-residential customers that are behind in their water bill payments. Obviously, that affects our budget. We've sent out a letter in the billing that's going out this month for both water and sewer, asking these customers to come in and make a payment plan with the village. Currently, the governor has mandated that, and it's appropriate, no water shutoffs until the end of March. Clean drinking water and sewer is important for the mitigation of COVID. But eventually that prohibition against water shutoffs is going to go away, and the village is going to have to take action on these customers that are in arrears, right?
Well, we have one big one, and that big amount needs to be started to be paid.
Absolutely.
You know-
Some of the bills are quite high now,
A
and
number of them are very high.
we're gonna have to take action, and I don't wanna shut off anybody, and we understand that people have been hurt and harmed by COVID. But we would ask the customers that are behind to show good faith and come into the village and set up a payment plan.
And those water bills are out, so if you are a customer that this situation applies to you, contact the office or get in here as soon as you can, and we'll sit down, talk with you, and see what kind of a plan we can put together.
Yeah, we'll work with you, that's the bottom line. Steve?
I'll give my report a little bit later, down at the bottom.
Okay, you gonna go into new business, or?
Old business.
Old business.
Old business.
Oh, I thought we were in on the, okay, I wasn't paying attention,
Sorry,
sorry.
doing your administrative report, Rob.
Yeah,
Right. And
I would've held off.
and
with
you have a
this one.
copy of the code enforcement report too, so
Yeah.
we didn't bypass that. Next is the general business, which is the consent agenda. The approval of the regular council meeting minutes of January the 11th of 2021. And the payment of bills. What is the council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported by Ballard and Slack. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Old business, which is a sewer plan. Mr. Clark, your department, please.
Yes, we have the administrative report on hand here. Just mention some of the ongoing stuff down at the plant. Our beautiful new boilers did not pass inspection, so they're working on that. They're working more in the pipe gallery with piping and electrical work. I mentioned last time the new control panel was set. They're still running electrical lines into that. And when I stopped out the plant the other day, I did run into Chris Munson there. So I got to catch up with him. He had just spent the morning with Ed, said things were going well, and